We're ready. It's jumper time. Welcome back to the B2B Marketing Gap podcast with me, Jade Tambini. I'm so happy that you're here for our last but one episode in this 6-part series covering how to create your B2B marketing strategy from scratch. Just to remind you of the 6 steps within this program, you really need to go back to previous episodes if you haven't watched them yet. Part 1, we look at the marketing review. Part 2, objectives and budget. Part 3, selecting your strategies. Part 4 is tactical activity planning. And part 5, which we'll look at today. And part 5. See how crap I am at ROI and reporting. Okay, and part 5, we look at reporting and ROI and managing your budget. And then next time in our final episode, we're going to be looking at how to present your plan to your leaders in a way that's actually going to get them to say, yes, go for it. If you don't already know me, I'm B2B Jade. I've worked in marketing for 18 years. I'm a TikTok influencer and I'm the founder and creator of B2B Breakthrough Academy, my 6-module marketing strategy course designed to help overwhelmed and frazzled marketers suffering with imposter syndrome, just like I used to be, become more strategic, be equipped with the tools and skills to actually make a marketing strategy, and just help them to become happier versions of themselves. If you'd like to learn more about the course, there are so many links in the show notes, and we are now enrolling for the January intake of B2B Breakthrough Academy. If you'd like to join me and loads of others like you, there is so much info in the show notes. Okay, so I feel like the biggest reason that marketing reports don't mean anything, and this is also connected with why people tell us that our work is meaningless, is that we're not connecting the marketing report with what we're actually working on and the real business results that your leaders want to see. We're just kind of like scrambling around, looking for some statistics that make what we're doing look good, presenting them to leaders to make them feel better, and kind of just honestly leave us alone. I only say this because I used to do it myself. When I worked in big corporate, you had to make sure that your numbers looked good. Otherwise, potentially your budget could be cut. But what we want to get to is a place where what we're actually reporting on is directly correlated with what we've strategically planned to work on in our strategy. And importantly, the business measures that your leaders care about. We're going to decide what we should be measuring and how to demonstrate success. And we're going to talk about how important it is to have sales alignment if we want true ROI. So let's start with the big question. Why is it so hard? I just find it so boring. Like, why this bugs me is because ROI is so hard to track in B2B, but when you do it properly, it works so well. Like my business, I posted on TikTok for 2 years and hosted free webinars every month. And then I did like a 6-figure year off the back of only that. But if I just pitched that to a business and said in 2 years, obviously 6 figures to me could be 8 figures to some other business, they'd be like, don't be ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. Because for the first 6 months, nothing much happens. And it's just, that's why I find it so frustrating to talk about, because it's like, everyone wants to measure everything and squeeze the creativity out of everything and make everything so scientific. And my data scientist would get mad about this conversation, but I just instinctively know what's going to work in marketing and I go for it. And then afterwards I can say, here you go, here's the results. But that's ultimately why I've had to work alone as an entrepreneur, because I just have to be able to do what I know is going to work. So yeah, I don't kind of go backwards about how will we demonstrate ROI. It's like, well, watch me and then I'll show you. And so that's why I find this really hard to talk about. Not my thing. Okay, but like carrying on from that, like why is it so hard to report in B2B? I think one thing is the length of the purchasing cycle. Like you must be able to relate to this. People take a really long time to buy. And so unless our systems and tech are really well connected, it's really hard for us to know if our marketing is doing anything at all. And I'll give you a good example of this, like because I'm so close to my customers and I know what they're doing and I'm able to track that with my softwares, I know from past experience that I've won quite substantial work off literally just LinkedIn videos. So a CEO messaged me about 3 years ago when I was still doing consulting work. And she said, hey Jade, I've been watching your videos for 2 years now. And I want to hire you. I just want to do everything you tell me. So not only was she in the market to buy from me, she was going with me. That was a fact. and she was going to do what I told her. So the whole piece was, I trust you. I am buying from you. I am not speaking to anyone else. I don't really care what the price is. And so many B2B companies could be enjoying the rewards of that, but because they are so crazy about what's the ROI like month on month now, they're never going to see that those 2 years of videos and multiple touch points that CEO had gotten, like my emails and my free webinars that she attended a couple of times, they're never going to enjoy the benefit of that. And so the reason that I single-handedly on my own as the sales team, the marketing team, the tech team, the finance, like on my own, I'm all those things in my business. The reason I created my course is that there were just too many leads coming in. Like too many people wanted to work with me. And I was like, this is draining now. Like I can't service all these people. I don't want to outsource it because my approach is me. It's how I do things, it's how I see things. I don't just want to get money out of people and farm it out. I'm going to make a one-to-many course. And so that is the biggest issue in why reporting is so hard and ROI is so hard, is not only that the length of the cycle, the complexity of the purchase, the fact that it's often high value purchases with lower volume. And so maybe you have much less sales. So it's harder to know exactly where that sale came from and for how long they've been nurtured by you. But also because we don't usually have the good sales alignment and the systems and the tech in place to help us understand that, we're kind of left just like grappling with like kind of nothing. And when asked, well, what's the ROI on your video marketing or your emails? You're like, I don't really know. Maybe we should stop doing that and just do lead gen strategies, which on their own won't do anything. It's actually really fun how passionate I'm getting about this because of the fact that I don't like it. So I'm just going to roll with it. When it comes to creating your actual report, I recommend that you go back to your marketing objectives, look at your key results and look at your success indicators, because that is going to show you what you should be measuring. The key results is going to be the business tangible things that your leaders would care about, like more sales, increased retention rates. Those are the things you need to be measuring in your report, because otherwise you're measuring stuff that doesn't matter. Now, there are things that I reckon everyone should be measuring if you've got access to them in your CRM and sales systems, such as like conversion rates, number of new inquiries, all the different things that are going to tell you, okay, how is our general pipeline performing? But in terms of what to measure months on month, just make sure it's not a load of unstrategic, unlinked stuff that isn't connected with your strategy. Because the biggest thing about my course, and not even my course, just what I'm trying to get across to marketers, is to keep your strategy as a flow. Don't ever, imagine like a marble running down a pipe. Why did I come up with that? And don't let it ever fall out. Like, don't let there be any holes in that pipe. The marble needs to run all the way down seamlessly, connecting them together, because then you know it's tight and robust. There are endless things you can measure. Only measure the things that connect with your plan. So the template that I use is like a very simple layout. It's got the items that I recommend you should be measuring overall, and then you just insert your own. You can create this report yourself. You could hire like an expert who helps you with your ads or with your CRM to just help you flesh that out yourself if you're not going to join the course, which is absolutely fine. This is like a work along series, and have different tabs where you can show leaders the more meaty information, and then have sub tabs where you're going to have your success indicators. So if one of your success indicators is that, oh, right, lots of people are clicking through on some content in our emails, what are the click-through rates on the different emails? And then we can really look at which ones are performing best in terms of message. That's like a success indicator as opposed to a key result. So you want to keep that there, like in your back pocket, in case any leaders are like, oh, how's social media doing? How's emails doing? You can go into that, but that's not like your front foot, because that's where we get called the fluffy team. That's where we get told, oh, all you do is just vanity metrics. Who cares? We got 10,000 impressions on a post. What did it actually lead to? At this point, please comment on this video to let me know if this also is just so like frazzly to you and you just find this part of the planning process just so not even boring, just like, oh my gosh, like I'm the same with maths. Like maths for me is just does not compute, like doesn't work for me. So when it comes to measuring your ROI, I've got so much to talk about. in so much more detail, but we can't cover everything from the course in one short video. But one of the things I love talking about is attribution models. And this sounds like what? She promises no jargon. What the heck is she talking about attribution models for? All this is that when it comes to measuring return on investment, say a sale is made in your company, and the salesperson's like, well, I made a sale. Yeah, you did. However, where did it come from? And how are we going to attribute the value of that work to where we spent money? So we've got a few different models that we can talk about today. So the first one we're going to talk about is called last touch attribution. And last touch attribution is just saying wherever that kind of came in last, we're going to say that won 100% of the sale. So let's say someone watched 10 YouTube videos, like joined 3 of our webinars, read 25 of our emails, but then Googled and clicked on us and inquired. Last touch attribution would say Google Ads won us that sale. And then a finance director might say, we're not doing any of the other stuff because they're not generating any work. That is the crux of why attribution done the right way is so important. The other one is first touch attribution. So maybe someone Googled a problem they're facing or a service they're looking for, and then they click on our business and they have a little look around. But then over the course of 4 months, they're just like consuming different pieces of content and they're really getting to know us again. And then they read a bit of PR about us. What we would do is say that the Google search is what brought in the work 100%. And we would disregard any other touch points. I'm not going to talk about every single one that is out there, but also the weighted attribution, which is where we look at putting different weighting on different areas based on how impactful they were. And then the last one, which is honestly my favorite one, if it's possible, and I do believe it's possible in many of them, is self-reported attribution. So when my students join B2B Breakthrough Academy, they always write on there where they found me, and it's usually TikTok or the podcast. But when I get to meet them and speak to them, or even send them a little email to say, hey, I will always say, tell me about your journey. And they'll be like, my friend mentioned you and I looked up your TikTok and then I joined your webinar and then I downloaded your marketing review and I completed it. And then I saw that you had an early bird discount on your course. I do have an early bird discount on the course. And then I listened to I just binged your podcast and then now I'm here. So TikTok only gave me a very small window into what's working. If I only went with TikTok, I could end up canceling my podcast. So self-reported is always a really nice way to verify that. And when it comes to your reporting, you're really going to need to make sure that you have the systems in place to enable you to do that if you're going to be using different marketing techniques. So alongside creating your marketing report, you also need to be keeping a really solid eye on your marketing budget from a control perspective and checking in with finance so that they know what's coming. I personally have always liked it when there's a PO system in place, whether your company does purchase order numbers, so that you're tracking things really well. And then you can make sure that no costs get assigned to you without it's gone through you first, a PO has been raised, and everything's just really orderly. So check in with finance to make sure that the invoices that you think are coming in are the ones that are coming in, and there's nothing that's like unaccounted for that at the end of the year, you'll be like, how come I've gone over budget? I didn't even realize. And in terms of frequency for your overall approach here, I recommend that you have a quarterly, quite top level marketing report for your leaders. That includes things like number of meetings from leads, the quotes that have come off the back of that, and the number of sales ultimately, your marketing qualified lead conversion rate. So basically of all the leads that come in, how many convert into sales. Also knowing the total sales value. So what are the sales for that month overall? What is your pipeline value? And again, if this worries you, this is just stuff to get to. So your pipeline value is everything that's in our CRM software and our lead management software. This is the work that's being quoted and this is the value of the pipeline. You can even get really clever and be like, if the contacts we have turn out to be deals later on with a weighting percentage of how likely that is to happen and what our average order values are, this is the size of our pipeline, so that if you have got early inquiries, you can find a way to quantify that with money symbols. But again, that might feel a bit far reach for you just yet. Another reason why you need to hire a specialist, and we do actually have a specialist within my community, he's just there as a helping hand to anyone who needs him, and he's implemented a load of these for my clients in the past as well. Because again, you don't need to know how to do everything yourself. You need to call on specialists to build those dashboards, to make those things happen, to make life easier for you to run that strategy. We want to be looking at average contract value. We want to be looking at things like our net promoter score or any of the measures that we're using to look at client health, our retention rates, our customer satisfaction levels, whatever you've got in that marketing plan earlier on in the stages to symbolize like what is success going to look like. That's what you want to have in your top level report for leaders. And then I would say that monthly, you need a more fleshed out marketing report that's for your team, for yourself, about those success indicators, like how the leads are breaking down, how the website's performing, how email's working, how social's performing. And those numbers, yeah, of course you can share with others in the business, but it's not necessarily how you're judged or measured. I hope that has been valuable to you. That has been absolutely exhausting to me because this is not my area at all. And I want to thank my TikTok friend Lou for helping me through this and giving me the motivation I needed to get it through. But I just want to be positive about the fact that it's okay to suck at one area of marketing and to feel like it's not your area and to not enjoy talking about it. And that can be cool too. Give me a comment below if you can relate. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And I hope to see you for the next episode, which is where we're going to look at presenting your finished plan to leaders. As a reminder, doors are now open for the B2B Breakthrough Academy January intake. Class starts on January 14th. And if you're early enough enrolling, you will enjoy the early bird discount. And I have left a link in the show notes for you to learn more and join us. I'm so excited to get started. New year, new marketing strategy. We are finally going to overcome imposter syndrome. So excited. And if you are able to join us on December 3rd, we're having an open house to talk about the course. So if you've got any questions for me at all, you can hop on. Again, the link to join that is in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thanks for carrying on, even though I've had loads of meltdowns, and I will see you next time.